How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with the Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian, and it is Monday on the show. You know what that means? We got a lot to talk about. Busy weekend, NXT Deadline, an awesome men's, what was it called? Iron Survivor Challenge? Men's version was awesome. The women's version was there. It was fine. But between that and what I thought was a very good main event, not everyone agreed. You know, for sure, the men's Iron Survivor Challenge is one you should go out of your way to see. So we'll talk about that here today, as well as SmackDown and Collision from this past weekend. And, of course, we've got a lot coming up over the next couple of days. CM Punk is going to be on Raw tonight. And in Storyline, tonight, he is going to decide if he is going to sign with Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. He's going to make that decision tonight. Where will he sign? Well, I guess we'll have to find out. So we've got the Raw lineup for tonight, as well as a bunch of other upcoming shows, including the Tokyo Dome. We got a lineup for the Tokyo Dome. Ace Steel did a podcast and talked about how proud he was of his friend CM Punk, going back to WWE. We've got the WWE holiday schedule. Back in the old days, you just worked right through Christmas. Now, everybody's going to get a week off. We've got more on the Seth Rollins-CM Punk feud, which, I thought that match was going to be Royal Rumble, but CM Punk apparently is in the Royal Rumble. Now, granted, there have been years where there have been matches, and then guys have gone from the matches to also be in the Royal Rumble, so that is possible. Some years you do one or the other. Some years, some people have done both. So we could talk about that and so much more. If you want to text us, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com. And F4W Online on Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez on Twitter. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
What's up, everybody? It's Denise Salcedo, and I'm backstage right now at Wrestling Revolver, and with me right now is Jacob Fatu. Finally, Jacob, it is so nice to have you here on the interview. How are you?
Man, I can't call it sis. Day by day, man, we living. Day by day, we living. But overall, man, I'm happy to be here. It's for a good cause, man. Shout out to Sami Callihan, man. Sorry, I just got out the ring with Masha. Man, let me tell you, man. Shout out to Masha. Shout out to sis. There's a reason why she's top dog around here. So other than that, it's a great cause, man. Happy to be here, sis.
Yeah, I was going to say, so first of all, I might as well touch on that with Masha Slamovich because you just had a match with her. You know, how does it feel for you to do intergender wrestling? Like, what is your take on that? Because I know some people can find it, it's kind of a controversial topic.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like, my thing is, listen, first and foremost, women make the world go around, okay? I got 7 kids, I got girls, and my girls are the toughest, right? And not only that, but for real, when it comes to matches like that, it's like the girls are on the road just as much as I am. You know, we're all in the same boat, so it ain't nothing but respect. You know, they feeding their family, taking care of they know the in and outs. So, but not only that, like, it's not just a random person. We talking about Masha, you know. So, absolutely, it felt good. It was a good opportunity, but to be in there, I was very, very excited today for my first intergender match, and it was good. It was good.
Oh my God. Okay, so this was your first one then.
First, yeah.
Oh my God. Was it what you expected? What was the most surprising thing?
It was more. Like, man, I'm getting goosebumps right now. Obviously, I'll never do interviews, so I'm feeling good right now. But overall, man, it was more than what I expected. It was more. I mean, man, she done built the platform for herself. She done built the following for herself. So to be out there with somebody who's actually doing that shit, if it feels good. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I could.
No, that's okay.
Okay, for sure. But overall, it feels good. Feels good.
For the year 2023, Masha, when you think back to your body, to your collection of work, what would you say are some of your top 3 favorite moments of the year, your top 3 favorite matches?
Jesus Christ, that is a really hard one because much like 2022, 2023 has been an absolutely jam-packed year full of amazing matches. You know, I just go from having main event level match to main event level match, and, you know, not to toot my own horn, but it's been history making week after week. So to pick top 3 moments is incredibly difficult. However, being a part of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla's Bola in the very beginning of the year was something that I wanted to do for a long time and something that meant a lot to me. And also, the match that I had at Game Changer Wrestling against Rina Yamashita in Tokyo is another very controversial style of wrestling, is the deathmatch wrestling, but it was one of my most passionate matches of the entire year. And if you go back and watch it, I think that the heart and soul that we left in the ring definitely transcends across the camera to the audience. So those are definitely some of my favorite matches.
The show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. And right when we went to commercial, I noticed a news story I didn't talk about in the opening segment. And we don't have a lot of details yet, but the MLW WWE lawsuit appears to be done after issuing a notification regarding a settlement. It was filed in the U.S. District Court in the Northern District of California. In accordance with the court's standing order for civil cases, MLW and WWE hereby submit this notice of settlement to notify the court that the parties have settled this action. Parties are in the process of completing the final settlement documents. Expect to file the appropriate dismissal papers within the next 30 days. MLW had filed an antitrust suit against WWE January 2022 with allegations of WWE attempting to undermine competition and monopolize the pro wrestling market by interfering in MLW's contracts and business prospects. MLW alleged WWE pressured third parties into abandoning contracts and prospective relationships for MLW. This includes a pending deal for MLW with Vice TV in 2021, which was killed at the last minute, and MLW blaming WWE. Suit was dismissed in February, but MLW had 21 days to amend its complaint, did so, and were successful. The amended suit stated WWE violated the Sherman Antitrust Act, stifled competition through its exclusivity agreements with broadcasters. So I'm sure we probably will never find out details of the settlement, would be my guess. But it has been settled. So that is the end of that for now.
Probably the best news that could have happened for both sides. MLW, unless you were guaranteed to win, was going to be dragged into some pretty deep waters financially when it comes to what TKO has. And WWE surely does not want any discovery and want anything more to come out in the process of a trial that would make them look like that they violated antitrust acts, so as well as many other things possibly. Who knows what could come out when it comes to WWE. So is this enough to keep MLW going? Is this going to be enough to kind of pad them as they continue to look for a TV deal? We'll see. You know, I'm not sure how their Fight TV deals are going, but court obviously is continuing on, and we'll see what ends up happening with MLW here in 2024.
Hey, Steele. Well, we'll talk about that later. We should talk about the big show this weekend, this NXT Deadline show, which, speaking of Ace Steele, his student CM Punk actually opened up the show. And yes, the story is that tonight on Raw, CM Punk will decide if he should sign with Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. We're going to find out tonight. I'll let you guys know tomorrow.
What are the Vegas odds on NXT?
If he's signing with NXT. But anyway.
How happy would you be? Would it ruin everything for you if he went on your favorite show of all time, all your life?
They're all my favorite shows. What are you talking about? I don't care where he goes.
Oh, they're all
Doesn't
your
matter to
favorites?
me.
Aye.
As long as people pay to see where he goes, subscribe.
And then pay you to listen about where
exactly.
he goes.
So we had a bunch of matches on the show. By far, the best match on the show was the Men's Iron Survivor Challenge.
Hallelujah.
Which was so ridiculously great, and it was impeccably timed.
Yep.
And I saw some people on the internet mad that I kept mentioning that the Women's Iron Survivor Challenge was intricately booked and timed and practiced for weeks. They both were. I've said that since day one. And you can't have a match this intricately booked in the last couple of minutes, calling it in the ring. Of course it was intricately
Wait
booked.
a second. Lance Storm is going to call you
No,
on
he's
that.
not. If he watched this match, he'd know. He's been watching this show. He knows what's called in the ring, what's not.
Well,
but the
if you have
match
a
was
bunch of
awesome.
Veterans, you could hit your match time then.
And the story was essentially that everyone's favorite wrestler in NXT is Trick Williams. And throughout the match, 25-minute time limit. And for the first, I swear to God, 23 minutes and 30 seconds, this bloke just keeps getting pinned and sent to this penalty box over and over again. And the crowd's just like, they're sad. And then finally, with a minute and a half left, it's there's a three-way tie for first place. Braun Breaker and Tyler Bate and I think Dijak all had 3 points.
Josh Briggs.
Trick has 0.
Oh, Briggs had 2.
Briggs had 2, thank you, Mike. It was 3-3-3 with those other guys that I mentioned, thank you. And anyway, so with a minute 30 left.
Thank God we're on video today.
This guy gets 3 pins in a row. And so there's like 9 seconds or something left in the match, and he's tied it up. But behind him is Braun Breaker setting him for that spear. And Trick turns around, and Braun rushes in to pin him and win this match. But Trick does his leaping V-trigger knee, and he hits Braun right in the head, and he pins him, and he wins the match. And, man, this place went absolutely nuts for this finish. Because it wasn't just they wanted the guy to win, but the match was booked so well that even me, who knew who won, I was like, there's no way this guy could possibly win. Like, it's impossible at this point. Like, what are they going to do? How are they going to screw? But they didn't. And, in fact, it was not only him winning, but convincing the fans that at best, he might get a point. But then he came back to win it all. It was awesome. Awesome match. And it's even more awesome because now we know where it goes. It is Trick getting a title shot at New Year's Evil. He will almost invariably be screwed by Carmelo Hayes, who we're going to find out did attack him, because Lexis King on the show did admit, I didn't attack the guy. I was just taking credit for it because everybody was like, praising me because I'm a bad guy. So he admitted he didn't do it. That made Carmelo mad. Why would Carmelo be mad? Because he did it. So anyway, Carmelo can screw him out of his world title match, which of course will make Carmelo the biggest heel in the company. And then they can build their match towards WrestleMania weekend, and Trick can beat Carmelo at the, how many people can they have there? 13,000, 14,000 people? I mean, the place is going to be packed, and they'll get their big Trick Williams victory on that show. It's awesome. The whole thing was great.
Can't complain about that layout. Could not complain about the layout of the match, as you mentioned, because of the way that they did it as well. And the fact that you were running out of time. Him going and trying to get a pin and then maybe thinking at the end that Carmelo was going to screw him or something was going to happen. They had that card that was in the fans' minds as well, too. So I'm with you. I thought it was fantastic. Again, there was nothing wrong with the women's match, but the way that this one was laid out, the way this one was timed, and how they did everything right when it came to everyone's favorite, Trick Williams, you can't complain about it whatsoever. The only real complaint now in hindsight is I probably would have had that match as the semi-main event because the cage match between Kiana and Roxanne suffered a little bit. So that's probably
should have been the main event.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could absolutely argue that. You could, but I understood what they were doing there. But at the least, in hindsight, it should have been the semi-main.
Because, listen, I mean, you could. It doesn't really matter, but at the end of the match, at the end of the main event, which was Ilya Dragunov beating Baron Corbin, I mean, the match ended, and then out came Trick to alert him that he was next for the belt. But you could have easily done it the other way, where Ilya Dragunov retains the title, Trick wins the main event, and then Ilya comes out and says, "You're next, brother, and I beat you within an inch of your life the first time, so you better get training here." So I thought the main event was a very good match. I know some people were bored, but I thought Dragunov and Baron Corbin did an excellent job.
It's hard for someone to be bored during a Dragunov match, and I understand that people do not like Baron Corbin, and I'm not saying that this was Flair Steamboat or anything like that, but it served a purpose, and they told a little story that was believable with the two characters that they had, or believable enough, I should say, with the two characters that they had, and he got a title defense out of the way. Baron Corbin, for those who don't like him, to me, frankly, should be right in the mix in NXT all of the time, the way he's able to use his size and use his experience and his real-life riches to rub in the face of all of these people on the come-up. So I actually enjoy Baron Corbin a lot there, and I thought the title match was very solid.
Also had Dragon Lee and Dominic North American title, and the Dominic run, I guess, was going to end one way or the other at this show. Wes Lee was going to beat him. And, of course, Wes Lee had to, leave for surgery, and so his brother, Dragon Lee, ended up getting the match and beat Dom. Pinned him clean in the middle, Destino. So he's the new North American champion, and we'll have to figure out who's going to beat him now. Get somebody in NXT over. We'll talk more about the show after the break. Observer Live.
Corey Lee with the Wrestling Observer. We saw pretty much the start of your career during kind of the tail end of the pandemic shows. Now, obviously, you're a champion. Can you just talk about your from basically going from training school right to TV and how that has kind of changed from when you started as the cheerleader and now, obviously, as a member of the House of Black?
Oh, the cheerleader. Yeah, I think before I was training at the Nightmare Factory, I had maybe 5 matches on the indies ever, and then next thing you know, I was on TV, so it was a really big jump, and you guys all saw my growth on TV, which a lot of people, you don't see. All of their growth is on the indies, and then they make it to TV, but you guys saw me at some of my lowest lows, doing the cheer thing, and then finding myself and elevating myself. So yeah, you guys saw it all, I guess. But I'm very proud of myself now, and I did always see myself going this path, and I can't believe I'm doing it this early on in my career. I told myself, oh, when I'm 26, I hope I'm on TV. And 22, winning a belt, man, I'm trying not too hard to think about it because it's just so crazy. Yeah.
Hi, Julia. Iman with LA Excise. Congratulations on becoming TBS champion. MJF, when he was here previously, talked about ageism in wrestling. He's 27, you're 22, you could be a senior in college. Have you experienced any obstacles due to your age, or maybe people not taking you seriously, and if so, how did you overcome those obstacles?
Yeah, I think being with the cheer gimmick, it was really hard to even take myself seriously, and I wasn't confident, and I always felt just like the little guy. I still am the little guy, and I'm still learning every week and every time I'm in the ring, and I love everybody's critiques. I really appreciate it. So, I mean, what was the question? Sorry.
Maybe you had any challenges, maybe.
Oh yeah, I remember coming to the back after my matches as a cheerleader, and people would just be like, "You'll get it eventually. Like, it's okay." And I'm like, "Oh God, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not confident in myself. I don't know what's happening? So I think it was just finding my darker side to really take it out of me. So now I come back from my matches and people are like, good job. You're figuring something out. And I'm like, oh, thank God I'm doing something right now, because it was a long path to find me doing something right. So.
The show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Women's Iron Survivor Challenge was won by Blair Davenport. Yes. They did the old finish where she was ahead. Lash tried to chase her for the last couple of seconds, but Blair ran for her life to be the winner. So she will be facing Lyra at New Year's Evil. But then Cora Jade, the resident bad girl of NXT. Boils my blood every time I hear it. She returned, and I guess she's also in line for Lyra's title. Match was fine. It was all right. I mean, hey, listen, for the experience level of the women in there going 25 minutes, they did an excellent job putting it together. But at no point did it not look like a choreographed 25-minute match with green women wrestling. That was that. Then we had Carmelo and Lexis King, and Carmelo got the win there, and that's when Lexis revealed that he had not attacked Trick Williams. But he did thank Carmelo for giving him that PLE spotlight. And then that's pretty much it. We talked about everything else. So I would say overall, a very good... Oh, we didn't talk about the cage match. Horrible spot for the cage match. The match was all right. It was like your basic cage match. And then, who should slam the door? Because, of course, we have to have the cage door slammed on someone's head in every single cage match ever. But nobody knows! Some blonde. The crowd had no earthly idea who she was. The announcers didn't appear to know who she was. They had to be smartened up. I had no idea who she was. For those wondering, it was Izzy Dame. Yeah? For those of you that don't watch the show and have no idea who I'm talking about, well, most people watching the show also have no idea who I'm talking about. But she cost Roxanne the match.
Not a fully developed, established character as of yet.
Izzy Dame.
Izzy Dame.
Yeah.
What do you think about the name, though?
I don't know. Whatever. It's NXT, dude. Every name is dumb. Overall, I thought a very good show. Very good show.
I don't think Roxanne Perez is a dumb name.
I'll stop. So, then we had, we'll get into some news and we'll go back to some of the other TV shows because I hear people want SmackDown reviewed. Is that right? It was a groundbreaking, newsworthy show, that SmackDown this week. Let me tell you. So Raw tonight has CM Punk to reveal which brand he's going to appear on. Cody Rhodes versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso. We're getting Drew McIntyre and Jey Uso tonight. Drew's going to get his pound of flesh. And Cody and Shinsuke Nakamura, which has been built up for a while. And then, of course, we got Rhea Ripley and Maxine Dupree. That should be something else. And Becky Lynch wants to call out Nia Jax. Yeah.
Boy.
You know, that's a match I've been looking forward to for years. Becky Lynch and Nia Jax in a rematch. Yes, indeed. Then we have got SmackDown this Friday, which has the return of Roman Reigns, so it'll do a big number. Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory, U.S. Title Contenders Tournament match. And also in the U.S. Title Contenders Tournament, Grayson Waller will be facing Carmelo Hayes.
Hey!
Yes, getting his shot here in the SmackDown tournament. So that will be exciting. And we got, of course, the Ace Steel interview about CM Punk. He was a guest on Wrestling with Rip Rogers. With Rip Rogers. I wish that was the actual name of it, but...
That is not broadcast over the air, I can tell you that.
Yes. Steele said, I'm very proud of my number one student. The number one student I've ever coached in the world. Feel bad for the rest of his students. For heading back to show the world who the hell he is. I did a speech at the Cauliflower Alley Club. Steve Kernan was supposed to induct Punk at the Cauliflower Alley, but he couldn't make it. They were kind of scrambling around, and I said, I'll do it, because who else can introduce to and talk about the days that we started together? And I said, the reason people hate him or whatever is he's not about the BS. The guy doesn't take S, and he doesn't take it lightly. And when you've had enough S, you either explode or you take care of business yourself, and you defend yourself. People don't like him because he defends himself or calls stuff out when it's not proper. But if you treat him right, he treats everyone else right. Was that the speech he gave at Cauliflower Alley?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
No.
Maybe
some of that was in there, but extended out to about, 15 minutes or so. Yeah. That's how those inductions work.
He was asked about his time in AEW and the All Out Brawl. He said, well, I worked with a lot of great people. Some great, some not so much. Family still exists in this business. There are things none of us can say and none of us will. I think actually my wife's the only one who could probably tell the story since she was there. Maybe someday. As far as that goes, you don't F with family. You just don't. You just don't. And we came out just fine. I have a great lawyer. Stephen P. New. Stephen P. New. He's the man. Let's put that in the world. That's Stephen P. New. He's a gem. I can't believe that's actually his name. He is for the wrestlers. He is for the boys. He's on the right side of the world. So I will give him all the praise in the world for why I'm sitting here smiling. I'm proud of my clients. Would not represent them if I didn't truly believe in them as people. Wrote Stephen P. New. That's the update. That's the update.
You seem like you have more to say about that, the way that your face was convulsing during reading it there.
I don't at all. No.
Doesn't seem very controversial at all. Seems like a guy who's
he's not allowed to say much at all, to be honest.
Talking, and does anybody expect him to say anything different than for him to back up his friend? I don't see how this is particularly, all that exciting or anything like that. But I know Stephen P. New will probably be happy with the free commercials that he's going to be getting over and over again.
Excuse me, what's his name? Did you say Stephen P. New? Okay.
New office, yes.
Wait, it's PN News?
No, Stephen P. New.
Oh.
Not PN News.
God, can you imagine? The angle between CM Punk and Seth Rollins continued on a WWE house show this weekend. Following Sunday's live event on the campus of Penn State, CM Punk addressed the crowd and was greeted with CM Punk chants. He responded by saying he didn't want to talk about that bum and referred to himself as the real best. I hope he was calling him a butt. He doesn't want to talk about that bum.
No, you're the bum, like Rocky.
I really don't feel like talking about that bum tonight. Instead, I'd like to take a second to express my gratitude to each and every one of you guys. Each and every one of you.
He knows bums, too. He's a Bears fan.
From all of us in the back, everyone in WWE, we just want to say thank you, happy holidays. We'll see you guys next time. We love you. And do me one favor. You've been singing my song so beautiful all night long. Let them know in State College who the real best in the world is.
And that's when they chanted CM Punk.
Yeah. I got to find that Seth Rollins interview about Punk the other day.
Why?
Well, they're obviously going to do a match and they're feuding and there's all that sort of thing, but
yeah.
He did.
I read it on Friday. I got to be honest, I'm not tired of the feud, and it's something I said. It's like on Friday, it's like, can you be tired of a feud before it begins? And I know once they get in the ring, the action is going to be great as long as both of them can, stay upright and not get injured doing anything. But Seth Rollins and the character that he has is just brutal on the ears to me. His promos are, I think, a lot of his defending of WWE. And look, everybody's got a right to do what they want to do, but there's been so much of this on social media that led to this point that I really was tired of it then. I'm tired of it now, and once they rehash it on the air, it's not like it's going to be anything that I really want to see, but I understand it. I completely get why they're doing it. I know I'm in the minority on this stuff, but unless it's actual action in the ring, I can see a lot of these promos just kind of getting a little long in the tooth.
All right. Okay, so this is what he said. This was in Sports Illustrated, and this was the most interesting thing to me. So obviously this is all, we're setting up a match here, and we're going to be taking shots at each other and everything like that, and etc. But Seth Rollins in this Sports Illustrated interview said, CM Punk said some really bad things about me, talked down about me for years in the company for years. I'm talking about some really bad stuff, called me a bootlicker, crap like that. You don't know me. You don't know what I stand for. I'm a loyal person. I felt pretty insulted by a lot of the ways he treated me, treated the place I worked for, treated friends that I worked with. I don't need to get into any of the stuff with Colt Cabana. If you want to look at that kind of stuff, it's out there. He brought up Colt Cabana.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how about that? I thought that was off limits when, doing these promos with CM Punk. Apparently not. Anyway. They're getting time off for Christmas, everybody. Following the December 18th episode of Raw in Des Moines, the company does not have any live event scheduled until December 26th, which includes NXT tapings at the Performance Center. Thankfully, the developmental gets some time off, too. The December 15th tapings in Green Bay will be for 2 episodes. There's no December 22nd taping. December 25th Raw will be a best-of show, since there is no show being taped. But WWE has not publicly confirmed it. But one executive there said to the best of his knowledge it was accurate. So we'll get a best-of this year over Christmas. Back in a moment. We're going to talk about Collision and also SmackDown. Fear not. Wrestling Observer Live.
Years of my career, I was discredited because of my age and the amount of time I spent in the sport. But I think there's honestly a vast group of people that are wrestling fans that have no idea that when I was on the independent circuit, I was driving 12 hours 4 times a week to wrestle in front of 20 people with 20 freaking teeth combined, and I earned my spot. And sure, it might not have taken me as long as some of the guys that were sunning me that were, let's be honest, never was 30-milers. But I earned my spot. I don't care that I'm 27. I've been doing this now for almost 10 years, and while it might have only been 10 years, I study this sport ad nauseum, and I respect this sport so much. I won't say more than anybody else, because when you look at the show tonight, you know that this locker room respects the sport. But the reason that I did that is because I faced that adversity so much, not just from wrestlers, but from fans, because they're like, oh, this kid's a little, I am young. I absolutely am young. But I study this sport ad nauseum. I like to believe I understand this sport, and it is my goal to go down not just as the greatest AEW World Champion of all time, but it's my goal to go down as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. And to top it off, one of the Creative Pro Wrestling students contacted me and said that a guy on an independent card he was with was bullying him and saying, what do you know? Who are you? I've been doing this for 20 years. Yeah, you've been doing it for 20 years in a gym, you fucking dick. How about cut that kid some slack and don't bully him? And also, by the way, the guy's like a 30-miler, like literally only wrestles once every 4 months, but pretends he was a veteran. I'm not going to name names. The bottom line is this. Not just this sport, but in every line of work, I feel like ageism isn't just for elderly, it's also for young people. There are a lot of young journalists in this room that I am very positive face a lot of bullshit because they go, well, what do you know? How long have you been a journalist? Fuck you. How long was Michael Jordan in the NBA before he was one of the greatest fucking basketball players of all time? How long was Maxwell Jacob Friedman on national television before he was one of the best professional wrestlers of all time? That is my goal. That is what I strive for. That's why I made that tweet. Sorry for the really long rant.
Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Hey, I should mention on my X right now, the former Twitter, sticky to the top, it's the links to this year's 4 guest host spots. And this year, if you'd like to guest host, it can be the Bryan and Vinny Show, Filthy 4 Daily with Tom, or this show, Wrestling Observer Live. Take your pick. It's a lot of fun. And all the money goes to a good cause, Whale Scout, registered 501c3. You're buying shovels and mulch and plants and dirt and whatever else, doing a lot of habitat restoration. And you can write it off on your taxes and join this show. And it's great for everybody. So if you would like to bid, you can head up right now at Bryan Alvarez. It's on my Facebook as well. I do have a Facebook somewhere. And you can just also go to eBay, type in Whale Scout if you don't want to go to Twitter, and bid and join the show. It's a lot of fun every year, and you won't regret it. I don't believe anyone ever has. So check that out. We also have a Clash at the Castle commemorative mini belt that we are auctioning off, which you can also write off on your taxes because that goes to Whale Scout as well. So if you have a wrestling fan who happens to really like Drew McIntyre or something, if I got a gift for them. So check that out. 32 bids for the first co-host spot so far. Get your bid in, and we'll have 3 more coming as well. We do 4 every year. So jump on this first one, and all the money goes to a great cause. So last chance this year to write stuff off, kids. Get on it right now. Yes. Hey, I hear there was a Collision and a SmackDown show. Is that right?
I heard that too.
Okay,
yeah.
well, I'm going to start with Collision this week.
All right.
We had some tournament matches. We had Eddie Kingston and Claudio had a tournament match. And Eddie, of course, has to fight his way back. I still stand by my prediction that he wins this tournament. And I guess we'll see what happens as things go forward. But they're pushing so hard that his life's goal, his dream, was to win that Ring of Honor title and that New Japan Strong Openweight title. And, man, he just put him on the line in this tournament. Can you imagine? So I can't imagine him doing that unless he's winning the tournament. So we shall see.
I should hope so, because otherwise him crying about not getting his own triple crown that was essentially created for him with the 2 belts he put up there, it's going to be too much to bear.
So, yeah, good match. Very good match. Eddie won with a cradle.
How soon can we merge that belt with the New Japan GHC
We'll
belt?
get to
How
that
fast
later.
can we do that?
We'll get to that later.
Oy.
Then we had some other stuff. Willow Nightingale beat Mercedes Martinez, and then she got beat up, and Statlander ran down to make the save. We had Wardlow killing Willie Mack via ref stoppage with the power bomb. We had Kenny Omega, Ethan Page, which, I mean, who was the guy that said, how could a match that's predictable be any good? Well, this match was as predictable as they get. It was exactly what you would expect Kenny Omega and Ethan Page to be. And guess what? It happened to be really great. So Kenny Omega won per stipulation. He is now officially a better Canadian professional wrestler than Ethan Page. But Ethan gave it the old college try, as they say. And a CJ promo. This week, Miro will beat up Andrade, but he has vowed not to do it during the tournament, or nobody is allowed to interfere. He will wait till after the tournament.
Brian?
That was nice of him, yes.
Did your father, Carlos, ever kill a boar with his bare hands for your mother to bring home and have to clean?
No, but when I was a kid, we once had a bear run through the yard.
Really?
And the kids chasing it with sticks or whatever. And my dad goes, "Is that your bear?" 2.0 versus Penta and Commander. So here we are, you know. Hey, you want to hear the whole rant, you can listen to Bryan and Vinny show last night. But, brother, they drew 2,800 people, okay? Not good. 2,800 people in the building. And, you know, it's like, you know, when we used to wrestle back in the day and, you know, you do a show, some indie show, and like 80 people show up. And then, you know, some of the people are like, why bother? But then the other people are like, dude, those 80 people actually paid. Like, they deserve a good show, so let's give them something. Well, for these 2,800 people that actually cared enough to pay for this Collision show in Canada, a show they can't even watch on television, 2.0 comes out, and they're over like gods in this building. The place is going nuts. And so they decided to put him against Penta and Commander. Commander, by the way, who does nothing but jobs, including a week ago he did a job. Well, Commander beats him. They don't need to win in their hometown. Let's not make the people too happy here. They got a show. Then Bryan Danielson and Andrade in a tournament match was the main event. And overall, it was a very good match. But at least 3 botched spots by Bryan Danielson. Because he has one eye. And, like, you're wrestling with one eye. And then, I had people that were like, I think he botched him on purpose. And I was like, I know this guy's really smart. But, brother, if you're making a match worse to get over your bad eye, if you're purposely making it worse to sell your bad eye, I'd rather you just waited till your eye was healthy.
Really?
So that we didn't screw up spots either on accident or on purpose. But
the thought of him now channeling Sabu and saying that is hilarious to me, though.
Andrade works over the eye. Brian's bleeding all over the place.
It looked wonderful. Didn't that eye look just...
It looked great.
Oh.
And so then he hammerlock DDT pins Bryan Danielson. And then Claudio comes out. Claudio's mad at Andrade for going after the eye of a guy who willingly went into a tournament with an eye patch on.
Well.
And then keep in mind, Claudio also, I think, has a match with Danielson coming up. So see what happens there. But very, very good main event. And yes, we had tribute to the troops.
I thought you were going to go into Rampage. You had a perfect opportunity right there.
This was a very, very important show. Like, a lot happened here. For example, Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar in a U.S. title tournament match. It is now absolutely a pattern. If you have an NXT title match coming up, you will lose the day before. And so Dragon Lee was beaten by Santos Escobar. Santos moves on in the tournament. And Dragon Lee went on to the NXT show, where he actually won the North American title, so maybe Santos can challenge him for that belt. Randy Orton gave Nick Aldis a check for $50,000, or he was fined $50,000. He gave him a check for $100,000, and Aldis goes, "Why is this $100,000? I fined you $50." He should have just not said anything, taken the money. But Randy goes, "Yes, that's for next time."
I like that.
Yeah, Cody put over all of the troops. Then we had Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross in a compelling, can't-miss tournament match.
This was a rib.
It went about 7 minutes or whatever. Lashley pinned him. And, like, hey, listen, I'll talk more about this with Tom, but we've mentioned it for weeks now. Why in God's name are Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits heels? Why?
I know.
Why?
I know. I don't know.
He was the most over guy on the show. And then they went out of their way to talk about the military career of Lashley and Montez. I'm like, okay. And they were super over.
This ain't going to be forever. This is not going to be forever. They will be baby faces soon enough.
We had the Punk promo where he talked about going to Raw to choose what brand he's going to go to. And yes, of course, he had the line about, what was the line here? Let's see if I'm sure I wrote it down exactly.
Did you clear this with Stephen P. New?
I did not. But essentially, he said that, Kevin Owens, you might want to fight him, but they're too much alike. He says, I don't know who would feel comfortable working with somebody who randomly just punches people in the face backstage. I mean, it's 2023, ladies and gentlemen. You just can't be doing stuff like that. It's insane. Dead silence for that line.
Oh,
I'm talking dead silence. No! Are you kidding me? Did you watch the show?
I did.
There was no reaction to the line whatsoever.
I don't know. People immediately compared it to the Eric Bischoff scissors thing, and that was far worse than this. Far worse than this.
He was trying to get this line out there, and, they wanted people to talk about it all weekend. Some bloke on the board got really mad that I didn't. But, guys, there's nothing to talk about. It's like a scripted line that was designed to get you talking. And the funny thing is, the fans didn't react to it.
Oh, yes,
and
they did.
If you want to know, well, online they did, but they didn't live.
That's exactly what they wanted. Look, anytime
and you know why? You know why there was no reaction?
Because WWE fans don't care.
No, I'll tell you why there was no reaction.
Oh, boy.
There was no reaction because these people really want to like CM Punk, and he was out there making light of something that wasn't very nice. So they were like,
"Do you think that's?
I don't want to cheer for that."
I'd say that there's maybe a small percentage of people who are like that, but I don't think that is the case.
There is no way, Mike. There is no way that this audience does not know what happened with CM Punk and AEW. There is absolutely, positively no way. Well, they just didn't think that was something to cheer for and laugh at. That's all it
right
was.
Over their heads, but it did
not go over their heads.
This stuff still works for online because it sends people into insanity. And the reality is it didn't take anything away from the promo either, because for those people that didn't react, it doesn't matter. The whole rest of the promo was fine. So it's not, again, this is one of the reasons I'm already tiring of him and Rollins, because if this is what their whole feud is essentially going to be based on, which it probably is,
We had Asuka beating Charlotte. Actually, Charlotte beat Asuka. Which was amazing because Charlotte suffered a knee injury, leg injury of some sort. And, I mean, she couldn't do anything. And they ended up actually doing the spot to lead to the finish. And they gave her the win. So it was very important in their storyline to make sure that that Asuka lost as a result of Bayley, because that's the storyline here. I hope that Charlotte did not injure her knee worse than it actually was, but she was taken and got X-rays. I don't have an update yet, but it may not be good at all. She couldn't stand on it, nothing. And then the main event, Orton LA Knight versus Jimmy Uso and Solo, and I'm sure you know exactly how this went. They did the heat on both guys. Both guys made comebacks. And then finally, LA goes for his finish on Jimmy, but Randy grabs Jimmy in mid-finish and hits him with the RKO and pins him. And even though Randy stole the pin, he still celebrated with LA Knight afterwards. They shook hands. Basic house show match, although everything from the hot tag on was quite great. But it was a good show overall. But I don't understand the need for this to be recapped imminently. But hey, you know what? So that guy on the board, Filthy Tom Lawler, in an hour. Man, that guy knows how to talk. We'll spend hours on SmackDown. Every little bit of this show will be recapped. And also tonight with Dave. You're going to be sick of SmackDown by the time I'm done with this show. Let me tell you. Sick of it.
Why does Dave need to talk about it tonight?
I don't know. Because he didn't talk about it Saturday, and it was a scandal. But you know what? I am a man of the people. You want to hear about SmackDown? Brother, I'll tell you about SmackDown.
Jesus.
I will tell you about this show till SmackDown is coming out my ears.
Oh, God. Can I
hear
call
me?
Stephen P. New and sue
Did I
you
mention
for
what's on
this?
SmackDown next week? Let me remind everybody, in case you missed it. We got Roman Reigns returns. Okay? Probably setting up something with Randy Orton, because Randy Orton and Roman Reigns are probably going to be the Royal Rumble match. Then we got Kevin Owens and Austin Theory. And we got Grayson Waller and Carmelo Hayes. You know who might be on SmackDown is CM Punk. Maybe he'll sign with SmackDown. I think he's going to sign with Raw.
Me too.
I'm pretty sure he's not going to sign with NXT.
Don't think so.
If you watch the show every week, he would sign with NXT, because that's what I do. But I am not CM Punk.
No.
Yes.
You're also not Baron Corbin, standing in the Kansas City Chiefs luxury box alongside Taylor Swift eating steaks.
I think that was Photoshop. Don't trust that, Corbin. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Not signed, but we had a great conversation. It came about, of course, there was some unfinished business. They had that match, and I thought it would be great for our fans to settle it in the ring. And at the Wrestling Revolver show, they had the tag match, and to be honest, I'd spoken to them, and I thought it would be great to have a match and build some interest, and then have the story come back to Ring of Honor, where Athena is the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. Billy Starks is her minion. There's a lot of interest in that. They have a great chemistry. For people who don't watch ROH every week, there's some really exciting things happening there. And Athena's reign as the Women's World Champion of ROH, and Billy Starks as her minion. It's some really entertaining stuff. And I thought that it would be great to see that tag team against two of the horsewomen, being Marina and Ronda Rousey. And Ronda was happy to come here, and she was great. The crowd was really excited to see her, and it was a great match. We'd love to have her back sometime. It was really fun being out here. She's a local. Lives nearby, and that really helped make it possible. So anytime it's convenient, we'd love to have her back because she was tremendous. It was a great match. Yeah, she was at AEW All In, and it was great having her as a part of the show. I have a ton of respect for Mercedes Moné. We'd love to have her anytime in AEW, and I think, she's had great experience also with our partner New Japan Pro Wrestling, and so she would be a great addition to AEW anytime, and we'd always love to have her here. I have a ton of respect for her and have had great conversations with her, and I think the world of her.
It is at the very top. I don't know what it ranks, but it's we all know, it's not a secret that Jon Moxley is one of the best professional wrestlers in the world. He'll go down as one of the best professional wrestlers ever, and he is tough. His skull hurts when I punch it. There was a time where Jon Moxley, put the company on his shoulders, and he carried it through some tough times. And there is so much respect I have for Jon Moxley, and I knew that this mountain of Jon Moxley that I had to climb would be very, very, very difficult. And I feel very grateful that I had the opportunity to fight him again, and I also feel very, very grateful that I beat him, because it's something that I never thought possible. Especially this past month, I wrestled Claudio Castagnoli and pinned him. Like, it's crazy. I am wrestling top anywhere in the world wrestlers, and I'm pinning them.
Uh-oh.
Yes?
Breaking news. I don't know what it was. Hey, listen, I screwed up on that SmackDown report.
Why?
It was actually Asuka rolled up Charlotte.
Is that what happened?
It's very important I get this information out.
That's true. You don't want to be...
I don't want to compromise the sanctity of the world-famous SmackDown report here. But anyway, yes, because Bayley helped Asuka win. That's leading to her babyface turn. She's doing everything she can for damage control, but they're going to screw her in the end and beat her up and kick her out, and she'll go babyface, so... I've had no coffee today, Corey Conway. I quit caffeine a while ago. I got more energy than ever.
Yeah, never liked coffee to begin with.
Crazy. Yeah, I never drank
coffee.
coffee.
How did you get your caffeine?
I have ways. Sometimes
Right.
just,
Mainline it?
Yeah, whatever it took. But now I'm clean as a sheet. Yeah.
Liar.
No, I am.
Nothing?
Nothing.
No sugar, no nothing?
I mean, I have a cookie or something on the weekends. Whatever. It's Christmas
That's like going
season.
into the holiday season here. Are you going to do any dieting down
Yeah, DJ,
before?
I'm straight edge. You see, me and Punk have a lot in common. We have a lot in common. I think that's why we don't get along. It's like that promo that he did with Kevin Owens, We're two alike.
You know what? We really should bring a psychologist on this show, and maybe that they can do a little work and compare and contrast both of you.
Oh, God. Maybe Stephen P. New could come on and do a psychological analysis.
I'm about to call him right now.
Anyway, we're out of time, everybody. We're going to wrap it up. I want to thank Mike, as always. Callers and listeners up at the studio. Everybody who's bid on the guest host spots up to $910.
Nice.
Yeah, get your bids in, everybody. If you don't win, we got 3 more. But it all goes to a great cause, so thank you all for your donations. And that's it. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.